Welcome back to another episode of Two Joes and the Pros. Always, you got your guys Kenny, Ryan, and Brian. My guys, what's going on? How y'all doing? Feel like I haven't seen y'all in a minute.
I'm good, man. What's up?
That took
Chilling.
forever to get the dang podcast on Instagram, but we're good. We're live.
Oh, we're live on Instagram? You said we are live on Instagram?
And we're live.
I'll keep an eye on the chat there.
Yeah, that'd be good. So before we get into the thick of college football, I went down to Alabama this past weekend to the game, and shout out to Leah, shout out to Danielle for especially for the experience, taking me around, showing me around the softball, football, rolling the carpet out. I appreciate that. I just had a review for Alabama. Overall, I would say that the college experience, as far as from a fan at the game, is hitting on all cylinders. I think the way the fans engaged were really good. I think the fans are definitely knowledgeable, more than I thought they would be. Being in Alabama, I thought it was going to be a little country bumpkinness in them, but it wasn't that. They're very knowledgeable in the game. They were very understanding of the team they had. Very disappointed in the lack of effort that's putting out on the field, lack of attention to detail, lack of focus. It was very interesting hearing from fans. Like, I'm not just talking about fans that know football. I'm just talking about in general. Throughout the stadium, people are saying the same thing. So they have definitely adopted the Saban effect, the Saban way of understanding how it's supposed to look. And right now, it doesn't look that way.
Why do you think Brian's so annoying? He expects like every coach to be like, "There's a coaching problem in the NFL." It's because he has to deal with Bill Belichick for the last 20 years.
Yeah, I don't disagree with him there. I think the fans of Alabama feel the same way because what they see with DeBoer, they're not used to seeing because of Saban for so long, right? And I would say my honest opinion is until I saw the softball team play, I almost was like, I don't even want to be an Alabama fan anymore, right? Because what attracted me to Alabama was not necessarily Alabama. Now I am a Roll Tide fan. What attracted me to Alabama was what Nick Saban brought to the team as far as the discipline and consistently year in, year out getting 121 guys to lock in and focus to play at a high elite level every week. Right. And I know that's not an easy thing to do as a coach. So I definitely appreciated that. And what I think DeBoer has to realize is that this is not the Pac-10 or Pac-12. This is not, you're not getting Western side of the country type of guys, right? You're not getting Cali guys. You're not getting Pacific Northwest, some guys from Florida, some guys from Texas, right? You're getting mostly guys that's from the South. And mostly guys that come from different situations where they used to be the man of the house. They used to running the show. And what happens is when you're in a team, and for Nick Saban, he had this mentality of like making you uncomfortable at all times so you could continue to play at a high elite level. And right now, DeBoer is kind of real chill. So you let guys that's so used to running the show, you let them take charge and run the show. And what you see is what you see with Alabama. A very inconsistent up and down, playing to their opponent, letting teams back in, things like that, right? So I think he has to lock in, be a little bit more strict. Not saying take away the fun from the game, but be a little bit more strict so the guys can lock in, because SEC play, these coaches is salivating to be the number one person, number one guy, number one coach. Kirby Smart is like, hey, dog, Saban's gone, it's my turn. Right? Sarkisian, same way, my turn. They've been around Saban. They understand what it's like. So you have that. Now you have, LSU starting to make some noise, right? You got a lot of guys and, the SEC that's like, listen, it's time for me to start my dynasty. So that's kind of my takeaway from there. Overall, the campus is beautiful. The Greek life is crazy. I think the starter kit for every female I saw down there was blonde hair, some type of color eyes, right? For the males, it was, you had to have a pullover with some khakis and some dirty white shoes. Like, that was the starter kit. No matter who you were, black or white, didn't matter. That's what it's supposed to be. The Greek life was crazy, though. Yeah, that's my experience there. So now that I'm done with that, if you guys don't have any questions, I will touch on what's the actual football that occurred. Guys good there?
Nah, I was just asking you about the game.
Okay, the game. I thought watching the game, I had two different perspectives. I thought the game was kind of interesting. It's back and forth. It's funny seeing how fans were like riding a roller coaster, but then also, um, I thought what we saw was what I expected. I thought we would win by a touchdown or two, um, possibly pull away at the end. But South Carolina got the dog shit beat out of them last week by LSU. I mean LSU by Ole Miss, right? So I expected it to be a little dogfight in the beginning and then us pull away, but I think we just took the foot off the gas and got interested. The onside kick was pathetic. I don't understand how we didn't get it. So anyway, that's how that story goes. Well, I'll just touch on the big matchups for last week. Had a lot of close games for the most part. Besides the Texas-Oklahoma game, that Red River rivalry was a definitely Red River, and it's not for the water. It's definitely getting bloody because Texas beat the shit out of Oklahoma, and it didn't look close. It was probably the easiest bet, in my opinion, because it was like, bro, I know they normally play close, but they don't look in the same ballpark.
Oklahoma doesn't have an offense.
No, they don't.
They have a good defense, but eventually,
you expect that. You expect that by Venables.
Yeah. So I thought that was an easy bet. It was what, 7.5 was the spread?
No, it was at 14.
Was it? Well, either way, I hit it. That's all I know.
Yeah. So then you have the Oregon Ohio State game, which I thought was an easy game. Not easy game. I thought that was a good game.
I was like,
if you watch the game, you think Oregon is the better team, but they're not. Ohio State just has some laps, made some issues there. They should have won the game.
What are your thoughts on that play call at the end? The defense,
smart.
Was that genius? That was genius.
Yeah, I guess that's part of getting out coached.
Are they changing that next year?
They already did.
They already
changed it now.
Oh, really?
They changed it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
They could change it in the middle of the season?
Yep.
Yeah, it's NCAA. They do what the hell they want to.
That's fucked. Yeah. What's the rule now?
The rule is that if they accept the penalty, that they can also add the time back that was lost.
Yeah, add the time back that's lost, and then it's like 5 yards, first down, some shit like that.
Can you imagine losing to that and then them changing it the next week?
Because the thing is this, no coach has actually came out and said it. So the fact that he came out and said it was kind of like, fuck you, I used the rules.
Yeah.
Like I knew
he shouldn't have gloated.
He should have gloated, yeah.
But it doesn't matter. He's like, shit, sucks for everybody that comes behind me. I already used it.
That was a genius move.
Yeah. Genius. I think it was a genius move. I think it was a bonehead play by Will. Like, you have 8 seconds on the clock, bro. You know that, right? Like, if you don't see anything now, get the yards, get down, call it a day, right? So it's like, you can't wait too long. I thought he's been a little bit greedy, but I think that comes from him not being in big time games like that too. What big time games was he in Kansas State like that? None. So, I know people on Ryan Day's head talk about he got out coached. I don't necessarily think he got out coached. I think they kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit, and credit to Dan Lannon, right? He's coming from Kirby Smart, being around that. He's like, hey, you never stop trying, you keep going. I think the game.
Huh? Well, look, I just want to cover this real quick. I mean, the reason why Ryan Day gets shit on so much is because it's year after year. There is a big game where Ohio State is the better team, and they just do not perform to their standard. And eventually, that's got to come back to coaching. I mean,
I think it comes back to coach every time. I'm not trying to shit on Coach Day, right? Because I want him to do well, right? But
I think he's good. I think he's a good coach. I just think that he has some issue in big games. Like, he doesn't have the it factor.
He's a good offensive
He better
mind,
be Michigan
for sure.
I mean, they should easily.
I know Michigan sucks.
The problem is they're going to face Penn State, who is now the third-ranked team, right? Or third or fourth.
Yeah, they're the fourth team. Penn State sucks.
I don't think they're that good. Yeah,
they're not that good. So speaking of Penn State, they played USC. I think USC was beating them, and then Penn State just came back second half. Had a phenomenal. It was like a tale of two halves. They just reversed roles and came back. I think USC's problem is that they just can't get it done. They can't finish. They don't have enough interior linemen on the offense and defensive side of the ball that plays physical enough to get through the Big Ten, right? Which everybody kind of expected already. It's going to take a little time for them to get beefy up there. But they let Penn State come back and beat them in overtime, 33-30. I was happy there. I had Penn State. But I thought it was an interesting game there. Georgia, Mississippi State. Georgia let Mississippi State stick around. They only beat them by 10. Of course, we touched on the Alabama game already. Tennessee is especially they played Florida. That was a close game. Winning overtime, Tennessee won. I think both teams, Tennessee and Alabama, were looking towards this week when they play against each other. So they kind of took off last week, in my opinion. The LSU Ole Miss game pissed me the fuck off because I had Ole Miss, and they had the game won. Jackson Dart, a bonehead play, threw an interception in the red zone, just trying to take too much. Well, LSU ended up beating them, and then Ole Miss lost that game there. So they have to do a lot to get back into the playoff picture because they had 2 losses there. They can't take a third one. Clemson, surprisingly, people have been sleeping on Clemson. They've been tearing the ACC up. They've been playing a lot better. I think they just are doing better, just flying on the radar. ACC is not really strong, so they're kind of doing their part there. Klubnik, I think Klubnik, I forget how you say his last name. Klubnik, sorry, Klubnik. Cade Klubnik, he had 309, 3 touchdowns. So he's been playing really well. All in all, Notre Dame's handling business. Iowa State, sneaky team. People are not paying attention to them. They're 6-0 right now. They handle West Virginia easily. BYU, another team that people are not paying attention to. They beat the dog shit out of Arizona, 41-19. Of course, Genty still doing what Genty does. He's probably the Heisman favorite right now. He ran for 217 yards, 1 touchdown.
His lowest total game is 127 yards.
Yeah. That guy's a beast.
Yeah, he's killing right now. Kansas State
he could stop right now and still be drafted. Like,
no, he's gonna get drafted regardless. That's regardless. He's a number 1 running back right now for sure.
Yeah, he might be the best running back prospect to come out in a long time.
No, I don't know about all that, but he's definitely number 1 running back. Not in a long time. What are you talking about?
I think he gets drafted higher than Bijan did.
Yeah, Bijan wasn't a top running back come out in a long time though. He was just a top person in his class.
Yeah, he was like a top 10 pick.
Yeah, just because it's top 10 pick doesn't mean he's the best prospect in a long time.
I don't think
this is not a better prospect than Saquon.
Well, Saquon was what, 8 years ago now or something like that?
No, he ain't been in the league that long. 8 years?
When did he get drafted, Ryan?
He just got his extension last year.
Yeah, but they gave him a 5th-year option.
Yeah. So this is 6 year, right?
It might be his. I'll just look it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. This is his 7th year.
Seventh year.
Oh, sorry, I was off by 1 year. Sorry.
Okay.
So was Kenny.
Yeah, but with that being said, Genty's not a better prospect than him.
Than Saquon? No. But Saquon was drafted 4th overall. So I mean.
Yeah, but I'm saying Saquon is better than him. I'm not trying to discredit Genty.
Oh, 2nd overall.
I think Genty is a good prospect for sure. But I think I don't know if he pans out in the league.
Why?
Yes, he will.
What do you mean? He's not a big dude. He's a little dude.
What are you talking about? He's like 220, isn't he?
I'm not talking about the weight. I'm talking about the height.
Height's not big. It's not a big deal. That's not a big deal for a running back.
5'9", 215.
If you're thick, it's okay.
Okay.
Look at all the good running backs that have been that small. MJD, everybody remembers him? He was good for a good 5-6 years.
Who?
David Montgomery's 5'10".
Maurice Jones-Drew. Yeah, there you go. Montgomery, 5'10".
Okay. Montgomery game and Genty's game is not the same. But sorry. I'm just saying it's not the same.
All right.
What are you're getting mad at me? Like I'm like he's good. He's gonna get drafted. But as far as what he does in the league, we'll see. Yeah, I think other than that, no big games or nothing. Yeah. Army and Navy are both undefeated, which is dope.
And both ranked, finally.
Both ranked 25,
they
24.
Deserve it.
Georgia Southern Marshall, that pissed me off. That cost me $5,000. Marshall was up 20 points with 6 minutes left. They scored. Let me take this back. Let me look at this recap. Let me see what this says. They scored how much? What did they score? They scored with box score. Here we go. Sorry, y'all. They
So
scored.
it was the last leg of a parlay that would have made you 5K.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So they scored with. They had a safety. Marshall got a safety with 6 minutes and 45 seconds left. The score at that time was 23-3. Then it went to 23-5. They got the ball back. 9 plays, 60 yards dive. Only took 14 seconds. 23-11. Okay. 6 plays, 51 drive, 51 yards with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. 23-18. Marshall has the ball. They get down into the red zone of Georgia Southern. Fumble.
Oh, boy.
55 seconds, 7 plays, 66 yards. Game winner. What minute left? 23-24. Game over.
Damn.
And with the stupid part about that, they were in cover 3. Playing press. Stupid. Anyway.
Wait, why would you press in cover 3?
It doesn't make no sense, bro. Anyway, that's what I got for football. Sorry, I took a long time. NBA is starting up in I think next week.
The 22nd.
That should be interesting. A lot of
the Knicks are at the Celtics for the first game.
So, but yeah, that's what I got.
All right, MLB right now we're at the conference finals, or sorry, what do they call it? League championship. In the NL, you got the Dodgers and Mets. They're playing right now, game 3. The series is tied 1-1. You got the Dodgers up 2-0, I believe. Yes, 2-0. And so that series, I feel like might go 7. That's a good series.
Dodgers Mets.
Yeah.
If the Mets don't win today, it's over.
Why?
Because they haven't shown to string along some
fate.
They're a fate team.
Fate is on the Mets side.
I don't really care.
They could be down 3-0, bottom of the 9th. They're hitting a grand slam.
So that don't let the Brewers series rub off on you. I think I will say that what's his name has been playing his ass off. Lindor has been playing his ass off, getting some clutch hits. I would say that for sure. But I just think that overall, the Dodgers haven't even found their stride yet, and they still managed to win the games. They haven't even found their stride
I was surprised they got past the Padres. The Padres really missed an opportunity there.
They fumbled that for sure. Yeah. They fumbled.
They were up 2-1 with game 4 at home, and they got shut out 2-0.
Yeah, but to that, I expected that, to be honest with you. I expected that they were going to go. I feel like the Dodgers thought they were going to go, but I thought that the Dodgers were going to go, exhaust their energy, and they had nothing left for game 5, and I thought the Padres should have been able to do that. And for, what's his name, to go out there, Darvish, to go out there and pitch like that.
Yeah. Darvish pitched. He pitched the 2 runs. He only gave up 2 runs.
Yeah, Darvish pitched the game 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. Darvish did 5. Game 4 was King.
No.
Okay.
Wait. No, game 4 was Darvish. Because it was Darvish versus Humming.
Oh, 8-0. Yes, it was. It was that. Darvish gave it a 8.
No.
That's the 8-0 game.
Oh, that's the 8-0 game? Then that was King. My bad. You're right. Darvish only gave up 2 runs. I know this because I hit his under 2.5 runs. Give it up.
King gave up 8. Darvish gave up the 2. But the bats from the bats from the Padres disappeared.
Yeah, they got shut out in the last 2 games.
Because it was 7-5, 10-2, 6-5, and then 8-0, 2-0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Because it was I'm about to say the duel of the Asians, but that's not right. Yamato and Darvish.
I mean, it was. It is what it is.
Asians, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's the NL. Oh, by the way, Ohtani is 0 for 20 in the NL right now.
He is stinking it up.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe he has a bet on the other side or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
So you got a bet on the other side. You're funny for that.
Isn't he like really amazing?
He is. He's probably hands down the best baseball player that exists right now.
To exist? That's crazy.
Yes, that exists right now. I know.
I don't know. I was listening to some stats about like how crazy he's like. He had like the best game ever. When was that? I'll have to look it up.
He hit like 3 home runs and had like 2 or 3 stolen bases.
Six at bats, and I think he hit like all of them. And then I think he got thrown out at third, or he would have had a triple, but he got thrown out at third.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. That was like 2 or 3 weeks before the season ended. Yeah.
Yeah, he's struggling though, but I think that's a bad sign for the rest of baseball, because once he does get going, once he does get going, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah,
I would say too that
the Mets.
No, it's not. The Mets. No, the Mets don't have it. They don't have it, dog.
Go ask the Phillies.
They don't have the pitchers. No. What they did against the Phillies were is complete dog shit. Everybody gives Phillies love because the Phillies go out there and they have the names, and then they look like they do their part. They got the boys with the long hair and put the cap on, is the big beards. Oh my God, they're so good. Da, da, da. Really, the females just think they look so good. They're like, oh my God, they supposed to win because they look good. And then they go out there and they don't do shit. Right?
Yeah. The Phillies, I told you all before the playoffs started, I said the Phillies would be 1-0 probably. They just haven't been that good in the last month. So I knew that was over. But anyways, the AL, we got the Yankees and Cleveland. The Yankees are up 2-0, but the series shifts to Cleveland. And what I'll tell you is Cleveland is a very good team at home. So the Yankees being up 2-0, that's good for them, but I wouldn't say that they're going to necessarily sweep. I could see Cleveland easily evening up the series 2-2. But I do think the Yankees are the better team, so they should prevail, probably in 6.
The Yankees haven't even got going yet. Like, their bats go a little bit, but like they've been inconsistent. They haven't had a game where everybody's going. It's like Stanton goes or Judge.
Judge has been bad in the playoffs so far. I mean, he had a home run last night, which is a good sign. Yeah. But really, it's been Stanton, it's been and Soto that have been leading the way.
They've been flip-flopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the pitching, I would say the pitching has been a lot better for the Yankee side, right? As far as
except for their bullpen. Bullpen's a little shaky.
The bullpen is definitely shaky, right? But that's why I thought that game 1 win was big, because they're like, hey, we got to get to Cole. We got to get to Cole to get back in our rotation. I just saw something today said Cortez might come back. Well, we'll see if that happens.
Yeah,
but their closer though, I like their closer. I really like their closer,
Weaver.
Yeah, he's a dude. Like, I like how his persona and how he comes out, he carries himself, and gets the job done.
Well, they finally stopped closing with Holmes. Holmes was terrible.
Yeah,
that's why their bullpen's been so bad. But anyways, that's really all it's for baseball. Hockey has started. We're about a week and a half in.
Yep. A lot of goals. That's it. Nobody's playing no fucking defense in the goalies. There's a lot of goals.
There's been a lot of goals. Scoring is up.
Over.
I mean, most of the time. There are some teams I would stay away from on overs. Like when the Islanders are playing, they don't score. If they don't score a lot of goals, nobody's scoring a lot of goals because they're a good defensive team. So I'd be hesitant on the Islanders games. The new team that I thought was an expansion team, but really they just moved from Phoenix, the Utah Hockey Club, which I've come up with a couple of names for them.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I think that they should be called like the Door Knockers or the Bell Ringers. And for all you dirty minds out there, they could be called the Soakers. And if you don't know what that means, look up Mormon things that Mormons do.
He's so funny. He's so funny.
Yeah. I mean,
or the siblings.
Oh, sorry. Do they do that? I don't think they do that.
Soakers.
The Soakers would fit though, because they're blue. Their team is blue, and they could pass out like super soakers at games and really play into it. It's an idea.
This something else, though. Hey, is Jess in here?
Spray the fans during the game.
Son, this is our new hockey team. Let me explain.
Why
are they called the Soakers? Oh, son, let me tell you.
Super soakers. Just water guns.
Yeah, water guns, buddy.
That's the only gun a Mormon has. You know? No. But anyways, they surprisingly have been 3-1. The one team I'll be I want to shit on though real quick is Edmonton. Edmonton only got their first win last night. Before that, they were atrocious, and it took them to overtime to even win last night. So they're bad. They're 1-3 right now. Hopefully, that win last night jumpstarts them because I do like them. I think they're a good team. They should be easily a playoff team. So again, early in the season, so it's not that big of a deal, but they have been bad for sure. Another team that's been kind of bad out of the gate is Carolina. They are one of the favorites in the East, and they are not good right now. So, but yeah, the Florida Panthers look like the most dominant team probably. They've been winning handedly. They beat the crap out of the Bruins twice already.
Yeah, I took the Bruins tonight. What do you think about that?
Bruins tonight, who they got?
They got the Avalanche. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, the Avs are pretty good. They're a fast team. Who's in goal? That would be mine. If Swayman's in goal, they have a chance.
I'm not sure. I haven't got that deep into it. I don't really look at the goalies too crazy into the game time. What is it? I don't know. Swayman?
Yeah, Jeremy Swayman. That's their best goalie.
Yeah, it's definitely a difference. When he's at goalie, 2.4 goals per game. When Corpusal, whatever his name is 6.19 goals per game.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you know who is at goalie though? Because they don't really say.
You have to look at the starting lineup. I'm not sure where though. You can just Google it.
Yeah, I'm talking about for betting purposes.
But I mean that game could be a good game. Either way, might see the overhit in that one too.
I took
6.5.
I took the over and the Bruins.
Mm-hmm. And then I think that's it. I mean,
the WNBA. I will talk on WNBA before we get to NFL. WNBA is the Liberty versus the Lynx. It's a pretty good game. Series is tied 1-1 right now. They're going on. It's about to start the fourth quarter. The Liberty made a little run this third quarter, 26-19. I think they scored 61-62. They're evenly matched, man. I think you've seen the best players come out there and show out a little bit. I know game one was a close game. The Liberty was up. The Lynx came back, hit a 3 with Courtney Williams, hit a 3, came back and won in overtime. So it was a good game there. For game 2, I didn't really get the catch a glimpse of all game 2. But I know the Liberty won that game, and then now they're in Minnesota. So we'll see what happens for game 3. But yeah, overall, I thought the WNBA finals was really good. They came out with the list today as far as like the first team. I know Aja was on there, of course. Stewie was on there as well. Caitlin Clark was on first team as well. The first person to be on as a rookie since Candace Parker. And I think a couple other people I wasn't able to track there. So all in all, very interesting. Good to watch. I liked it. I think the sports getting better. I think overall we have a lot of sports now. Women in sports get involved to being like very competitive, and people starting to tune in and watch that as well. So,
sweet.
What we got, Ryan?
Ooh, NFL. We missed the whole week, but let's just talk about some of the news that happens before we start covering the games. Devontae Adams is now a Jet.
Mm-hmm.
Adams was finally, and he's now healed from his hamstring injury. So that's
of course.
Great.
Yeah, but we knew that though.
That's magic. That's how that happens.
He said
they do it every year.
Hamstring good to go.
What are your thoughts? I think Kenny and I talked about this. I think we definitely agree. I think if it hurts anyone on this team, it's Lazard.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping it actually mates. It will hurt Garrett Wilson because right now I think it will hurt him in the sense that he should be going nuclear every week because he is the most targeted receiver in the NFL right now. However, his targets will go down, but his value of targets will go up.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. He's getting targets, but
catch or something like that.
Yeah, he's getting targets, but his targets are like, hey, It's a stop route here across the middle. He's in double coverage. Like it's sickening to watch to see that he's still getting open at how he can because no, they're not. It's not going to anybody else. And I think to your point with Alan Lazard he is a poor man's Devontae Adams for this Jets team, right? So he was like, hey, I can fill in what Devontae was doing because I know where Aaron likes to go. And it's now it's like Aaron's like, damn, I ain't got to deal with Dollar Tree version. Now I can go get Costco. You know what I mean? Like so now he is Devontae Adams back, and I think Alan Lazard, to your point, he turns into the Devontae Smith, to the AJ Brown, where he's like, hey, I get quality opening, a lot of more one-on-one matchups, and I can start cooking. Because by himself, he's a good number one, right? I'm not saying he's not the number one. He's a good number one. But you get Devontae Adams, it's hard. Like, you got to pick your poison. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I can't stand watching Rodgers, like, play just because his mannerisms and, like the attitude he gets, like, when a player drops the ball or something. Like, I don't know. He just makes me sick. Like, I feel like he's not going to have that same reaction if, like, Devontae Adams drops the ball. He's going to be like, it's all right. He'll just start clapping. But, like, Garrett Wilson drops the ball, he, like, gives him, like, a death stare. This dude.
But he's not proven. That's why, though. You know what I mean? He has a lot of expectations for Garrett Wilson. He's like, man, I think he can be just as good as 17, which I think is ironic that Devontae Adams is there now because it's like, I want to see. I wonder how the development is going to happen. You know what I mean? Do you think that Devontae Adams brings Garrett Wilson under the wing and say, hey, let me teach you how to do this thing the right way? Or do you think he's like, nah, you do your thing? What's your take on that?
I think he takes him under the wing. He will wear the number 17, though, because Malachi Corley had it. Whoever the fuck that is. But
I wonder how much he paid for it.
But he will start this weekend. Sunday Night Football we'll get to watch.
Crazy how the playbook's just the same.
Yeah.
Oh, same shit I did in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Is he gonna be rusty? Not a chance.
They'll have. I wouldn't be surprised if there will be like a back shoulder, like route.
100%. It'll be a back shoulder clinic.
To be like, just to be like, see, look at the timing. He knew it's gonna. Yeah, I mean the Jets need something like this just to spark them because I'm surprised they fired their division's winnable right now. The Bills. We'll talk about them in a second. Yeah, we'll talk about them in a second. But like, they are not. They're winning games, but they're not. They're 4-2 right now, but they don't look like a 4-2 team. The Dolphins are left for dead until Tua comes back. And then who's the other team? The Patriots. The Patriots are rebuilding. They just need to put good product on the field.
Drake May looks good though.
He did, but I saw a report saying that he's getting an MRI today, but he had practiced in full.
MRI?
So I have no idea. I just saw a report that said he was getting an MRI.
Was it ESPN?
I don't know. I think it was.
They like to lie, so.
They like to lie.
I'll never let that go.
MRI on his cat.
You know, Drake May, I think he had a 50-yard air yard pass, which is like the longest air yard pass that a Patriot has had since like.
What is air yard?
Like thrown in the air, not like a run after catch 50-yard pass.
Oh, okay.
Like within the last like since Brady, basically. They don't throw it down the field, so maybe they got themselves a guy. Is that Pornhub on there? No, just
no.
Okay. And then speaking of the Bills, we got Amari Cooper getting traded to the Buffalo Bills. I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Amari Cooper still looks good. Like he's getting separation. He looks like a good receiver. Just
he's been dropping the ball
a couple of times, but Deshaun Watson it's because he doesn't expect the ball to be there. Deshaun's like a terrible quarterback right now. This last week was like I think the first game they had over 20 points in a game. The Browns are really, really bad right now.
Yeah, I think that goes beyond the quarterback though. Their coach sucks too.
Do you think their coach sucks?
The guy that's a 2-time coach of the year?
I don't care.
Okay.
That reward doesn't mean jack shit. If it meant anything, Belichick would win it. Had won it like 18 times.
I think he's a great coach. I think he's a good coach.
No.
Why? What's he doing wrong?
He's just a bonehead, dude.
What's he doing wrong?
He's just not that good.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
His offense looks like shit.
But I think that's just because his quarterback doesn't give a fuck.
When has it ever looked good?
When they had they've had good seasons with Baker. They had good seasons. They look good with didn't they have
I thought
Flacco
Baker was
last year?
before him.
Flacco, they looked good last year.
No, Baker was had Baker for 1 year, I believe, and then he let him go because he tried to get Deshaun. I wish you could bet on volleyball.
You probably can.
Ryan's like DJs.
Look at FanDuel.
You guys are out of control. Hey, what do you think this does for the Bills?
I think it takes the pressure off Keon Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, but I think Josh Allen is like on pace to throw for like 3,500 yards. Is that a product of not having a good enough receiver, or is that we saw this with Stephon Diggs last year? This is their offense. They want to run the ball.
Yeah, that's what they want.
So
I think Ray Davis showed like they got a two-headed backfield that they can get it done with too, and Josh Allen.
Look, they know what they got at quarterback. They know that they need to rein in Josh Allen. That's why he's only thrown one pick this year.
It's because Joe Brady is a quarterback whisperer, just like Dayball.
Well, but it's because of the scheme. It's like we're gonna run a lot. Yeah. We're only gonna situationally throw.
I think this helps them in a sense that like when they have to throw and take over a game, like the running's not working and or their defense is playing like shit and they have to come back, then they'll lean on Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Because and then the other person, I'm not super impressed with like Kincaid. Like he hasn't been getting it done.
I don't think anybody on their thing is getting it done.
It's hard it's hard to have your tight end be your number one option.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We went into this year thinking like Kincaid can be the number one option guy, and I think reality is setting in that he is a good tight end, a good pass catching tight end, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that you can surround and create your offense around. I think we're starting to learn things like that. Like Brock Bowers is going to be the guy in Las Vegas. Like that's going to be their number one receiver. And I don't know if Laporta's that guy either. I mean, Travis Kelce is obviously still that guy. It doesn't matter. But yeah, we'll see. 49ers had a get-right game against Seattle. That was we talked about that. Did we talk about that? No, that was we recorded on Wednesday. But that was this last week. That was a game that obviously hit the over. We had a good Thursday night game that week. Hopefully, we're not getting a good Thursday night game this week. The Denver Broncos play the New Orleans Saints.
Oh, that could be good. It's Sean Payton back in New Orleans.
That is the only cool storyline. Other than that, it's Spencer Rattler with no Olave
and no Shaheen.
And no Shaheen playing against Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton. Unmentionables that
watch this game's gonna go like 60 points. You watch.
Yeah,
because the defense is banged up.
The over is 37. Like, let's be serious.
Yeah, it's low.
I'm going to take the under on 37.
I would just tease it up and take the under.
I would tease it down, take 31. Like they're going to score something. Come on, bro. 37 points.
Denver's defense is so good this year.
What Surtain's not playing?
Denver's defense has played. They could play.
Did they look good last week versus the Chargers?
Yeah, both those defenses are banged up now. They're not the same as they had been throughout the season. Like there's gonna be points in that game.
The Chargers, they gave up 23 points.
Okay.
I don't think that was like a bad game
against the Chargers, right?
Chargers are a good team.
The team that doesn't really have any weapons, right?
They got J.K. Dobbins. Is he not a weapon? Herbert's still a good quarterback.
J.K. Dobbins is a nice piece at this point. That's about it.
Okay. Sure. Chargers are winning games. They're finding ways to win games.
I'll give them that.
The coach is having like heart issues, and they're still winning.
But the coach is really good. That's why they've turned it around so easily, despite not having the weapons on offense.
The Packers spanked the Arizona Cardinals. This was a weird game. Marvin Harrison came out with a concussion. Kyler kind of played like dog shit. Josh Jacobs only ran for 62 yards. It was just a weird looking game. And then they got carried away with it later on in the game. Let me see exactly what happened, because I remember the Arizona Cardinals were still in it at some point, and then the Packers scored a late touchdown in the third. I don't know. Are the Packers the real deal? I mean, Kenny and I like the coach there, so we think the coach is the real deal in Green Bay.
Yeah. There's something weird going on there, because I still don't believe in Jordan Love, but they found ways to win without him. So why can't they find ways to win with him? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he was efficient. He threw for 4 touchdowns.
Was he efficient? I mean, he's still below 60% throwing the ball this year.
Well, yeah. I mean, this game he was efficient. He was 60. He was almost 70%.
Okay, I was just asking. I didn't know.
Right. He has 2 4-touchdown games. That's what he does. He throws touchdowns in the red zone. They manufacture touchdowns for him to get it in the end zone.
Well, he learned from the ultimate stat pattern. So, yeah, why not?
Stat pattern?
Yeah.
That's what he calls Rodgers. Yeah. Hey, can we talk a little bit about Chicago? They're looking like
Caleb's starting to figure it out a little bit.
The game's starting to slow down a little bit for him, and he's starting to figure it out. He threw for 4 touchdowns. He was 23 for 29, 226 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he remembered that Keenan Allen was on his team.
Yeah, they introduced 2 touchdowns to each other before the game or something.
Cole Kmet, 5 catches, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns as well. DeAndre Swift has been killing it at the backfield. He was through the first 3 to 4 weeks, he was one of the most inefficient runners in the National Football League at 1.9 yards a carry. And then since that time, he has done nothing but just kill it. So the Bears look great. The NFC North looks like a division to reckon with, which, I mean, they're always pretty decent, but now you got the Vikings, who are still undefeated. You got the Bears, who are right there in the thick of it, and then the Packers. So who's the other
division of football?
Oh, then you got the Lions. Frick.
Yeah.
They're all good. They're the best division of football.
Yeah, they're definitely the best division of football.
Anthony Richardson, shocker alert, he did not play this week, which was kind of weird because they said he could have went back in that game, and then he practiced all week. And then right before the game, they're like, Joe Flacco's going to start, because they probably realized our best chances to win is to put Joe Flacco in the game.
So without a question. The offense looks way better when Joe Flacco is playing. And I don't understand why. I understand because the draft, Anthony Richardson, oh my God, he runs fast, he has an arm, blah, blah, blah. When Joe Flacco's in the game, you can win. When Anthony Richardson in the game, call it a day. Take the under, they're going to lose.
Richardson just can't throw an intermediate pass. Everything's got to be long with him, or else his footwork's not right.
Yeah,
and
he's what you call a hood quarterback. You throw the good ball, go ball, and then he can run. That's it.
And Flacco's always been a gamer, man. He's always been like a winner.
Yeah, I keep hearing people say that he's not a gamer. I'm like, what the fuck game do you watch that he's not a gamer?
Really?
I'm like, oh, he could never get it done in the big games. I said, what are you talking about?
If he didn't run into the buzzsaw, if he didn't run into the Patriots almost every year, he'd probably have more than 1 ring.
Yeah, I don't know. People would just be tripping.
Well, speaking of the Patriots, they lost Drake May's season opener, but they lost to Houston 41-21. Houston's a good team. They had Joe Mixon back. He was catching touchdowns out the backfield. He was rushing for touchdowns. He looked like he never skipped a beat. Speaking of which, that was another trade that happened. They traded Cam Akers because Dameon Pierce came back. So they traded Cam Akers over to Minnesota. So he's playing with Minnesota again. He was with Minnesota last year. I wonder if that tells us anything because I think Aaron Jones left last week with an injury before they went on bye. So I don't know if that they're just trying to get some depth in the backfield and they're bringing back Cam Akers, but they did trade for him. Tampa Bay put a smack on New Orleans. It was close for a while.
Yeah, it was.
And then Tampa Bay was like, oh, by the way, we just had a hurricane, so let's play a little harder.
New Orleans was up like 3 at one point. It's like the second half.
Yeah, actually, let me look at the box score real quick and we'll see where they scored 20 in the fourth quarter. At half, it was 27-24. And then third quarter, and then the Saints never scored again. And then they scored 7 points in the third and then 20 points in the fourth quarter. They were good.
Tampa looks pretty good.
Tampa does look good. You know what? This was one of my predictable outcomes. Mike Evans always has a hard time against Marshawn Lattimore. So like I faded. Anytime these two play each other, I usually fade Mike Evans and then I always go towards Chris Godwin. But Godwin was 11 for 125 and 2 touchdowns. So that was a pretty good game by him. I'm a big fan. Eagles. Let's talk about this real quick. Eagles barely beat the Cleveland Browns. They win 20-16. After the game, I don't know if it was at halftime or what, but Nick Sirianni comes in. He shaves his whole head. He must be going through a midlife crisis. But this dude, after the game, is chirping at the fans because they were talking shit to him about the whole game. Apparently, they were screaming, "Fire Sirianni!" So he, after the game, is chirping back at the fans. I can't remember.
Yeah, well, they should fire his ass.
But he was talking shit back to the fans, and then on top of that, he goes to his press conference right after, and he brings his kid with him. So like all the reporters like want to ask him questions about like what he was saying to the fans, and they want to give him hard questions, but they can't. Well, they can, but they don't because he's got like his kid there.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a bitch move. But what are your thoughts on that? Like everything I've talked to people like supposedly the locker room likes Sirianni, but like from the outside, he seems like a piece of shit.
He's a tool bag. He acts like he's never won a game. Like
I've been telling y'all for years, he's just an emotional guy. He can't win with an emotional coach. He doesn't know how to control his emotions. So how do you tell the team, hey, bro, you guys need to play within yourselves, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, you're just full with emotions. Like for a head coach to be yelling at the fans, come on, bro. He's lost himself.
Him and Hurts are opposites. Literally, like the quarterback or the player should be the one freaking out that should be turning around and the coach should be trying to get them right and telling them to apologize to the fans. It shouldn't be the other way around. Like this coach is not setting the example for his players. And I don't know. It's just, it's going to get ugly.
They need to fire him at the end of the year.
You think they'll wait till the end of the year?
Yeah, because they're going to be in the playoffs. I mean, unless they completely fall apart, they're going to be in the playoffs. And so you just got to keep them around and then fire him and then bring in Belichick.
That'd be nice.
That team's built for just like Belichick would want it.
Yeah.
They like to run the ball and they like to play good defense.
Poor Kellen Moore. Guy will never get a freaking chance. Hey, let's talk about the game of the week, right? Baltimore, Washington. Everyone wanted to see it. Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson. Lamar showed that he is better than the rookie. That's it. I mean,
come on.
Jaden stuck in there. No, this was just a veteran performance by the Baltimore Ravens. But Jaden actually played better as a quarterback, in my opinion. Lamar was 20 for 26, 323 yards, a touchdown and an interception. He got a lot of bomb passes to Zay Flowers, which was surprising because Zay has done nothing all year, and then he shows up this game. And he did most of his work in like the first half, and then he wasn't targeted.
That's how Baltimore does it.
But he was 9 for 132.
Yeah.
And they introduced him to one of these players on the team, Mark Andrews. He was 3 for 66 and a touchdown. He apparently still plays tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. But
has he been out? He's been out, right? Like, I don't think he's played, right?
Totally. But Washington, I hate to say it, they're a good team, and they're. I hate it. Terry McLaurin was 6 for 53 and 2 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels is a good player, and I hate him.
I think we talked about it. I said, he's in the best situation just because of his offensive coordinator. Like Jaden Daniels, I gave him a hard time coming out just because he's an older guy, right? But he's in a system where Kingsbury, that he fits it, the mold. Like that's the prototypical quarterback he needs to be, successful in that system. I think Caleb can be great, but Eberflus and that whole staff that they got in Chicago is dog shit. Like they don't know how to be consistent or call plays properly. They're like all over the place, right? One game, I'm going to run the ball. Can't run it because your O-line is trash. Next play is like, hey, we want to throw deep passes. Can't throw the ball because your O-line is trash. Then now they're starting to do more play action, start to sprint out. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now, if they can continue this, then cool. But history shows that they just want to switch up and do something different every game. So I get game plan, but you still at the baseline need to know who you are at the core. And I think Washington does. And, even though that we weren't talking about it, we're talking about quarterbacks here. The Bears don't. So you see two different things.
And the last two things I think we should cover is one, the Pittsburgh Steelers are supposedly starting Russell Wilson this week. What are your thoughts on that? Because that's Justin Fields has them as at 4-2, and they're playing he's actually playing pretty well.
He can't throw it though.
So they're winning.
Yeah, but I think it's at the point now where everybody knows, okay, Tom, we know you can win. We're ready to try to win some games. You're trying to go to the playoffs, win the playoff game. That's what we're trying to do. So I feel like if you think that you can win a playoff game with Fields, then cool. But I don't think they think they can win a playoff game with Fields. I think they can win regular season games, right? And then have a defensive battle. I think they like what Russell might give them on the upside if he snaps back into his old self. Granted, we're not going to see what Russell we get. So I think if Russell comes out this game and throws the pill around, and it's like, all right, cool. But if he doesn't, then I think to your point, they'll go back to Jalen. I mean, not Jalen, to come on, we'll blank. Justin. Sorry.
So I think that I think everything Kenny said is right. I mean, they've played Atlanta week 1, which Kirk was just coming back from his Achilles injury. They played Denver, the Chargers, and the Colts. And then they played the Dallas. Dallas is the only high-powered offense that they played in that stretch, and they lost that game. And then they played Las Vegas last week. So I think I agree with you. Fields is playing fine. He's winning them games. However, they know that this stretch coming up of games towards the end of the year, like they have the Jets and then the Giants. Those should not be too difficult of games. They should be able to beat the Jets. If depending on how Russell plays, that'll be the challenging one. And then they should be able to beat the Giants. And then they go on by, and then they play Washington, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Philly. Like they need to win these games, and this will get Russell Wilson right for the playoffs. I don't know. I actually think Russell Wilson is still good, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I think go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the Russell Wilson that used to win and won a championship is not the same Russell Wilson that you see today. He can't move like he used to. That's part of his game as a quarterback. And without it, I don't think that he is a prototypical pocket passer. I don't think that is his game.
What if he does come back? What if we do see glimpses of that?
I mean,
does the Steelers have a chance?
Yeah.
Does the Steelers have a chance then?
Yes. But I don't think you're going to see that.
I think that's the upside that they're going with. They're like, if he does come back, if we do get a glimpse of that, our upside is way higher than what Justin Fields can give us.
He ran for 341 yards last year. That Russell Wilson was never like a big running quarterback. He's a scrambler. He makes moves. He looked fine last year.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't move the same as he used to. He's had too much done with his feet.
Here's what I will say. What do you think of Bo Nix right now?
He's okay. I mean, he's what I thought he would be.
What are Bo Nix's stats right
now? To your point, Bo Nix looked better than what we saw with Russell.
Yes,
he looked better.
Does he?
Like watching.
Yeah.
What? He doesn't look better watching? You crazy. Russell Wilson, half the time, we couldn't even throw the ball in the beginning of the year. Towards the end, he started to get it together. But in the beginning of the year, it was terrible. We're like, who is this guy? Because this is not Russell Wilson.
The only thing Russell does better is that he's going to make a smarter decision sometimes. Like, Bo is going to air it out when he shouldn't, and he'll probably make a few mistakes doing that. But aside from that, Bo looks like a better quarterback.
I don't know. I think you guys are not remembering that Russell was playing pretty decent last year.
Towards the end, yes.
Towards the end,
in the beginning of the year, he was not.
Pressure,
at the beginning, towards the end, yes, he was playing a lot better, and he looked efficient.
Yeah, I mean he was getting used to the offense, the Sean Payton style, right? Because he didn't have Sean Payton the year before, and then he had Sean Payton last year. So yeah, he's gonna start. I'm just a bit. I think that Russell can still have it.
So now he's in a new system. So you're gonna give him the same leeway again?
I mean, he's got to play against the Jets and the Giants, so he's got a little bit of couple get right teams. But he threw for 26 touchdowns. Look at Cortland Sutton this year. He had 10 touchdowns last year. He's got 2 this year so far. As a Pickens owner, I'm excited to see Russell Wilson out there. I think he can get the job done.
You're just looking for deep balls at Pickens.
100%. And speaking of the Giants, because I mentioned them a little bit ago, they just lost their left tackle for the season with a Lisfranc injury. So he had surgery. That's 2 years in a row we've lost this dude since we've signed him to a big contract. He's one of the best left tackles in the NFL. 2 injuries back to back. That's gonna hurt. I mean, it doesn't matter because maybe now Daniel Jones will start playing worse, and then we can actually get rid of Daniel Jones next year. But that's all I got. Do the bets.
What we got, Brian?
Too easy.
Make us some money.
I can't believe the numbers that I'm seeing on DraftKings right now on these 2 games. We're going with the service academies. We're going with Army spread minus 15.5. They're at home against East Carolina. They'll probably win this thing by 28. I mean, that number's way too low. I mean, am I tripping, Kenny? Like, what's going on with that number?
I mean, it sounds like a trap, dude.
With the Army game?
Yeah, they're at home though. Usually, you don't get a trap game at home.
Yeah, I'm nervous about all academies. I definitely took teasers on them and pushed them down, but I'm nervous about all the academy games. To be honest,
really,
with you.
You're nervous about Navy too, because I think that's a lock.
Yeah,
16.5 against Charlotte. Who the fuck is Charlotte?
Anything that you think is a lock is never a lock.
In North Carolina.
No, I think they do have a good chance of doing it. I would not bet the other way. That's for sure.
Well,
if I'm going to lose, I'm
parlaying that shit. I'm parlaying that. So if I'm on my builder at that time, that's my parlay for the day.
Yeah. I think for me, I found a little bag that I've been trying to stay in that pocket with all the teasers. I think if you are smart, you can follow up with this. For myself, let me see when I placed a bet already. So where's it at? So I got a couple teasers, right? Which one should I give? Should I give the 12 o'clock teaser? Should I just give the teaser that I think the best on? Actually, let me give you the best. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, give your
You
favorite
asked
one.
the question, then answered. Just
sorry, Mark. No, go ahead. What do you think?
I was gonna say what you weren't gonna say, so just do what you were gonna
No. Let's say what do you think? It's 12 o'clock. I heard you say that.
That's all I said. This.
Okay, cool. So 12 o'clock teaser, right? It's a 16 teaser. Which teaser means you give yourself 6 points, right? So if you take all the spreads of these teams and then do the teaser, a cut down. So what I got is Miami at +1. Versus Louisville. I got Army at -10 versus Eastern Carolina. I got Missouri at +1.5 versus Auburn. I got Wake Forest at +7 versus UConn. The Arizona State game, I know their quarterback is not playing, and they have Jeff Sims, who I freaking hate. I don't hate him, but he's a Jacksonville guy, and he's just dog shit at quarterback. But I got Arizona State at +9.5, and I got Nebraska at +12.5. So I got some big money on that one. But that's my 12 o'clock teaser.
What do you think about that Missouri game?
I think the Missouri game, people are not giving Missouri the credit just because they haven't looked really well these last couple games.
I know. At home against an Auburn team, they're only 4.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
That's too low.
I don't know if it's too low, right? It's an SEC.
I know, but it's Auburn. Who is Auburn right now? They're not the same Auburn team that we've seen in the past years.
Well, they still got Hugh Freeze, and anytime you have Hugh Freeze or a good coach, you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get from that team. That's the only thing.
All right.
So I think that's it. I think you have a winnable games this week as far as betting. I think if you just be smart, you two team a lot of things. You can do a couple big parlays and probably put some money out there. I would say that if you talk about, like, I was messing around with this today, like an underdog ticket, like of who can actually win the game. I think you could take, I know this is going to sound crazy, right? But I already put this in. A Florida State money line versus Duke. A Nebraska money line versus Indiana. Wake Forest money line. Tennessee versus Alabama money line.
Yeah.
And then Arkansas versus LSU money line. People are going to say, why?
He's betting up against his team.
Why Alabama? Part of me is because I saw them last week and I don't like what I see. The other part is they leave the door open a lot. And I think with a Tennessee team, they're going to play out their minds because they played bad last week. They were looking forward to the Alabama game anyway. So I think you're going to see them start to play like they're going to be hyped up to play. Not only are they going to be hyped up to play, I think Josh Heupel is going to really put on his bag on the show. I think Jalen Milroe has a great game. I think Alabama has a great game. I think it plays close, but I think Tennessee pulls it out. I hope Alabama wins, but I think Tennessee pulls it out there. And then LSU Arkansas game, I'm a little salty from last week. But LSU, listen, it's a thing when a team plays in a conference or any person that is a big time game. The next week they always have a lull. They always take off the gas. So first, the Arkansas team, which they played Tennessee very close, and they're playing at home, right? Their offensive coordinator at Arkansas schemes it up, and I think you got a good shot there. So that's what I like. What about NFL?
Well, I keep going back and forth on it. I want to take the Patriots.
No.
But the kicker here is the Jaguars, they stayed in London, so they're not traveling. If they had to travel, I would take the Patriots. I think this is a winnable game for the Patriots. I know it's probably the only game they're going to win the rest of the year. That's how confident I am. And I think the Jaguars are garbage. Trevor Lawrence is a joke. You might see Mac Jones in this game. Like, Doug Pearson gets fired after this week. That's where I'm at right now. That's what
the Jaguars are definitely going to win the game.
I don't know about definitely.
No, they're going to win the game for sure.
Okay.
I think for me, I like the Bengals. The over for that game. I know. I like the over for their game. It's 42. I know they're playing at the Browns. I know people talking about the wind blowing and all that shit like that. But I think you see a little bit of life come out of Cleveland. I like the over for that game. I actually like the Texans +3 against the Packers. And then I like the over for Tennessee Buffalo game. That's my take. Only reason because the Tennessee Buffalo game, nobody's playing defense there.
Yeah.
I think the Texans Packers game, everybody's like, oh man, the Packers going to get it done. And I like how Texans are finding their stride right now. They're running the ball really well. And then the Bengals Browns game, I think that's just going to be a little gritty game. And I think the Browns will find a way to score. They were scoring a little bit last week. Granted, the Eagles defense is terrible, but the Browns going to give you, the Bengals will give you some points too. So
that's my take. I also like Monday night. I like the Buccaneers to cover 3.5 plus 3.5 against the Ravens. They're at home. So,
yeah, I ain't touching that shit.
Yeah. I think that if they lose, it's only by a field goal. I think it's a close game. And Ryan, what's your take on the Giants this week? They're +3 at home against the Eagles.
I think they're going to get destroyed.
You do?
I don't know. The only reason why they might not is because their defense is playing really, really well.
Yeah, I know they are. And you get Neighbors back this week, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, and the Eagles can't cover. So
yeah, the only positive is that our offensive line, it might be struggling, but the Eagles can't pass rush. So
yeah,
maybe
they're missing someone. I feel like from that pass rush.
Huff, they got Huff though.
Who?
Anyways, what are they favorites? The only thing that worries me is the narrative. The narrative with Saquon coming back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you guys are probably like tears, like ACL in this game or something.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Hey, you predict injuries all the time, Kenny. So
I don't predict injuries.
Yes, you do. Every time we talk about fantasy running backs, you're like, oh, he's probably gonna get hurt. I told you all he wasn't gonna be that good. He's gonna get hurt. Jonathan Taylor 2 years ago.
CMC this year.
Yeah. It happens every single year. Talk about fantasy running backs. Nah, he ain't gonna be that good. He won't be a top 10 because he's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, just stay away from Genty, guys. He hates that guy too.
He's already cursed.
Don't draft him.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, I think it's something to look forward to. If the guys don't have anything else, I'll close us out. Everybody good? We good?
Oh, we good.
Yep.
All right, man. Like I always, like and subscribe, share with your family and friends. We appreciate you guys tapping in. It should be a money week, man. We should be able to make some money this week. Just across the board. We got football kicking in, we got hockey kicking in, NBA is kicking in, NFL is still going. If you're not able to make some money, it's just because you're being greedy bastards. So just relax, stop being greedy. Slow and steady wins the race. And we can run it up. So we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Later.
Peace.